We'll go to the next question from Jonathan Owings. It says, I am planning on doing a 6-month bulk. What do you think about mini cuts? If yes, how long and how often? What do you think about mini cuts? If yes. If you're for them.
Yeah. Not a huge fan, to be honest with you. I actually don't like mini cuts at all. I think that the most productive transformations happen when we just spend time trying to gain. Have you ever heard the term dreamer bulk? I don't know if I've ever said it. If there's any bros listening to this, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Dreamer bulk is basically like, all right, I'm on a mission to gain weight, and you will just eat whatever's in sight.
Yeah.
You lift heavy, and you just fucking eat. And it's a dreamer bulk because it's fun. You can just gorge every day. You just get fat.
Yeah.
You know, it's not very productive. So I'm a much bigger fan of saying we're going to spend 8 months gaining at a very slow rate. Right? Like set some performance goals, set some powerlifting goals, set something that's going to keep you like engaged in the gym, and just slowly but surely just gain muscle mass over time. Slowly but surely. And then when you get to the point where you're done gaining, your body's not responding anymore, you're just ready to cut, go into a deficit.
Yeah.
Spend time cutting. The only time I ever recommend a mini cut is if that is your plan and you just overshoot your maintenance a little, or your surplus a little bit. Or let's say like you're in the middle of a gaining phase and you go on like a 4-week trip to Europe and you come back like 6 pounds heavier and you didn't even lift because you were there. Like I would be like, hey, let's spend 4 weeks mini cutting, you know? And at that point, then we can get back to the bulking because you just kind of, you just pull back just so you can kind of get yourself in check, right? You just like pull back enough to where you kind of trim off that fat that you gain when you're on a trip and you get back to the bulk. But anytime you come out of the gaining phase, it's just time away from building muscle. And a mini cut is not going to get you very much progress besides just shaving off a few pounds. Mm-hmm. So it's really like, it's almost used best as like an insecurity Band-Aid. So like as somebody, I've used it with women more than men where they're in a lean gaining phase, they're in a reverse diet, they're at maintenance, and they get to a point where they're just kind of uncomfortable. They gained a little bit of weight. They're like really down on themselves. So I'm like, hey, let's go through a mini cut, 3 to 6 weeks long, cut carbs. Usually what happens is they lose some water weight, so they do tighten up a little bit. They feel less bloated because they have less food in their stomach, and then they're happy with what they see in the mirror. Right? Because a lot of times they're not even really gaining fat. They just have a little bit of water storage and they're eating more food. So their like perception of what they see changes.
Yeah.
So I pull them into a mini cut. They feel better mentally, psychologically, and somewhat physiologically. And then we just get right back to the gaining phase. Yeah. Right? But it wasn't really a mini cut. It was really just slashing carbs so you can get rid of bloat, which is usually why I structure it. But I'm not a big fan. If I had to give somebody a mini cut, it's anywhere between 3 to 9 weeks. 9 weeks being like the absolute most. I would say usually like 4 to 6 weeks is ideal.
Yeah.
So